Alright, ladies and gents. Believe it or not, it's Friday. Isn't it? Yeah, it is. I've been sick all week long. Right. I like to think I'm doing better, but I gotta be honest, I'm not doing 100% better. I think that things are moving in the right direction. Hopefully. Sorry. That's one of my biggest pet peeves about Mr. F. He's probably got, I know he does, a million pet peeves about my own housekeeping. But Mr. F will leave the sink filled with, like, food matter, you know, like apple peels and toast crusts and whatever, just all in the sink and, like, kind of wet and disgusting. And when you get up and then that's what's in the sink from the day before, it kind of is disgusting, especially when you're sick to your stomach. Just saying. I will give him props that he did go to the store today and get me more bananas, because this is what I've been consuming. Bananas and Gatorade. Doesn't mean that it stays in me, people, but I'm trying to keep the potassium and the electrolytes up as much as I can, so that's my method. Here's something I said to Mr. F yesterday, because it's just almost laughable. Like, if I weren't in the habit of documenting my life, I might not notice the trends as much as I do when you write something down about yourself every day. But, like, God, I have a lot of bad luck, people. I mean, if you're not writing it down, you might, like, just be like, oh yeah, that month was bad, or, you know, we had some ups and downs. But, like, when you write it down, I mean, you all know because you read it. I mean, it's a lot of downs, people. A lot of downs. I barely get up before I have to get back down. So, I'm hoping after this, I keep hoping I'm, like, right around the bend of, like, having a smooth life existence. It just doesn't happen yet. But that's what I'm saying. I started to wonder, maybe everyone's life is like this. I mean, maybe my life always was like this, but I wasn't writing it down, so I didn't have to look at the trend. Do you know what I'm saying? Maybe everyone's life is mostly hard stumbling blocks. Let's hope. Oy. So, on top of all of this sickness, I'm hoping I'll get better soon, people. I have read some horror stories of sometimes this stuff lasts for 2 weeks, and people, I will be a skeletal sack by then. I mean, come on. Oy. Alright, on to something possibly interesting. I don't know, probably not. Mr. F is selling his car tomorrow, I think, or on the weekend, something like that. Now, I was, before I got sick, I was all gung-ho about having only one car. Now, the thought of only having one car makes me want to, like, commit hara-kiri, like, because I don't have enough physical strength to even contemplate walking to the edge of my porch, let alone to get kid from school. So, right now I'm thinking, yeah, that was a horrible idea. Hopefully I'll feel rejuvenated and better about it next week. The point about the one car thing, though, really, I'm having a hard time focusing. I'm going to try to stay focused. The whole thing with one car is not that I think we could have one car forever, but that I think, I don't know, I can get into challenges, you know. Mr. F did try to remind me that he doesn't get into challenges. I can get into extreme challenges. And I could get into the idea of seeing what it would be like to only have one car. And knowing, I mean, it's different because knowing that we have the means with which to change that situation when we wanted to. But what if we liked it? Or what if, you know, as I said to Mr. F, like, you know, walking to school, you know, kid could use the exercise. Number one, the whole reason why we bought this house in this neighborhood was because it was walkable. Yeah, I can't get to my preferred grocery store, but I can get to a grocery store. I can walk to a grocery store, I can walk to the bank, I can, you know, walk to the gas station, not like you'd need to. I walked about 4 of those. And I can walk to kids' school. so I can walk to the library. So I kind of feel like if I didn't have the car, then that might be the thing I needed to force me to do it. Yes, there's that. Also, Mr. F has this fancy bike he bought specifically to commute to work when we lived in Ann Arbor, which was a longer bike ride than it is here. The weather is better here. Some days he has to go on photo shoots. You know, I don't know, a couple days a week. Well, so on those days he would have the car, and the other days I would have the car, or whoever needed the car would have the car. But I do my grocery shopping on Sundays anyway. We have the car on the weekends. I think like if we have two cars, we drive them. If we don't, maybe we won't. And then maybe that would be something we would even later when we get a second car, maybe be able to keep a more active physical lifestyle. As I was telling him, when we lived in New York, we had cars actually, but you didn't drive them all the time. I walked an average of 5 to 7 miles a day. You just do. And the thought of, like, if I only had to go half a mile, I would never even bother getting on the subway, because by the time you go down and you wait for the subway and then you get off and then you have to get out and then walk over the couple blocks from where the subway was, you could have been there already. So, but like here, I would drive a half mile, no problem. Drive a quarter mile. I'll drive 20 yards. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you just get into a different lifestyle. So if we were there, we would do it. So, you know, I said, why not try it here and see, like, could we even handle it? Maybe we can't even handle going to New York if we can't handle it. Plus, obvious savings. We wouldn't be insuring a second car for however long that might be. Oh, God. So that's money. And the other thing is, obviously the gas for the car. And even though we would still be driving a car, I think we would cut down on where we went. So there's that. So Mr. F said, you know, he's not into it. I mean, he's definitely like not into the whole thing. And then he's like, well, what about getting your car fixed up? And I'm like, bonus. Right next door to the Honda dealership is the airport where you can rent a car. You know, and then I told him, I'm like, you know, I was in the Future Problem Solvers of America Club. And then he said, I'm not surprised, nerdo. Then he told me that he was in the Future Problems of America Club. So, you know, I just think it could be an interesting experiment. Now, here's the one downside. In July, I am not going to be in North Carolina, and I will need a car of my own, and he will need a car. So this would be like, that's why I'm saying we could do it. This would be like a maximum 2-month experiment. So, something to think about. And that's that. Not that, you know, and if that gives us also, let's say this is coming out. Oh, no. Also, that gives us 2 months to get our finances completely in order. At this point, our finances should be turned around, and we should actually have a little bit of a cushion if we sell the car and all that. So I would kind of like to get everything smoothed out, make sure my car gets completely fixed, it needs new tires, there's some stuff that needs to go on with that, get one car completely up and running, and make every decision we need to make for the best, and then see what money's left over to buy a car, rather than just buy a car next week. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. Also, with this whole insurance nightmare, yes, I've got our insurance now situation picked out, and all the other policies canceled, and our current policy remaining in that one. But that meant 4 separate payments came out of our, actually 6, out of our checking account that are then being refunded, and this is causing a little bit of a financial nightmare, as I'm sure you can imagine, having, you know, I mean, that's almost a whole paycheck. So trying to get all of that back without bouncing any checks for our bills, and get all of that, I mean, now, I mean, they're taking their sweet old time refunding the checks, no big surprise. So, you know, if we could have a little cushion, that'd be awesome. All right, check your check.